Welcome back, everyone, to the What Worked For Me podcast. I'm excited about today's guest. Today we have Zack. He's lost over 100 pounds. He's a fighter. He's also one of the owners of Fierce Fighting Championship right here in Utah. I got that
Yep.
correct. I'm really excited to have him on today. Is there anything else you'd like to introduce yourself with?
Nope. That's yeah. Partner, COO, matchmaker. I do all the matchmaking. So, yeah, if you like local fights, like the local show, yeah, we do a pretty good job. We have a good time with it.
Awesome. And I'll have everything linked in the description if you want to see any of his social media or any of the fights and content with that. Because it's great. I love watching local fights. So before this, Zack, we had a quick chance to chat, and you said you got up right around 270 pounds, and you've lost about 100 pounds.
Yep.
No one
Yeah.
starts out at 270 pounds. So did you gain
Right.
weight early in life? Was it later in life? How did you get to that weight?
No. So I was really active in high school. Played football on the team. Recreationally played. Basketball, baseball, everything. I'm pretty active. Uh, I had a tear in my knee my senior year of football. Kind of just dealt with it. Had surgery to go on a mission, put on some weight on my mission, came home, got another surgery on my knee because I retarded on my mission. And then after that, it was just a slow, steady. Came home, I was about 210 pounds. I left on my mission, I was about 175.
Yeah.
I came home at about 210. And then, it seemed like every time I tried to do something to lose the weight or get back in shape, I'd lose 10 pounds and then I'd get hurt and I'd put 15 on, or,
Yeah.
I'd start. I remember my wife and we tried to do P90X together, hurt my shoulder, and and then had lost 5 pounds, put on 15, 20. And so it's just this constant, just teeter totter of I'm going to start trying to play more basketball. I don't like working out. I don't enjoy going to the gym and lifting. I don't enjoy running, even though I have to for fighting. Uh, I don't enjoy it. So that was a big part of my struggle, is finding something that I enjoyed that I could be active in daily. And every time I tried something, it'd work for a little bit, or I'd lose interest, or I'd get hurt. And then I'd just keep putting on more and more weight, which perpetuates the problems of injuries and things like that.
Right.
And then before I knew, I'm flirting at 270, and I'm feeling like I'm going to be 300 pounds here in a year or two if I don't fix something here. And yeah, so that's what led me to get into start training kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, and that's kind of where it
So
started.
how long did it take you? You said kind of, this sounds probably mid 20s then. It said by the time you got up to 270 because you thought,
Yeah, so I'm 36 years old. I've been training. I'm 36 years old. I've been training a little over 8 years. So I was, yeah, so I was 28 when I joined the gym. So I
okay,
was, but so from 20 years old when I got home from my mission,
yeah,
because I had to come home for that knee surgery. Yeah, that's kind of when the weight gain more aggressively started. I'd say 24, 25 years old is when I started getting
pretty big.
heavier.
Yeah. So it took about 5 years to gain the 100 pounds. What was kind of the moment that you had? You're like, okay, I have to change this. And what drove you to kickboxing and jiu-jitsu? Because it sounds like that was
When
what helped.
when I hit 270, it that like I don't know why, but it was something on stepping on the scale and seeing that. And I have four kids now. I have four sons. I have two boys, and uh I wanted to be able to do activities with them. And the heavier I was getting, the more I could just tell, like, just simple stuff, playing basketball and doing little stuff with my oldest son as he was kind of growing up and getting into sports. It just became harder and harder. And we had jazz season tickets, and I just remember it. I could feel it in my knees and in my back. Just going, like, climbing the stairs at the Delta Center, like
Yeah.
it just a lot of little things. Some tough love from family members, kind of teasing me about my weight, but I did recognize it came from a place that they cared. So it wasn't really hurting my feelings, but it was more like I do need to do something to address it.
Yeah. So you hit that crossroad, you realize like I need to be there for my family, I need to be in better shape for myself.
Yeah.
What made you jump straight to kickboxing and jiu-jitsu? Because
Yeah. So that was right like, when Conor McGregor and the UFC was getting big,
right,
right? And it became fun and I started watching it. One of my buddies introduced me to the sport and I actually got my son, my oldest, who he was 4 turning 5 soon at the time. I signed him up at One Hit MMA in Layton and I was just taking him and watching the sport. And I got invited to go to my first fights in person by one of the fighters there that was fighting on a local card. And so I went and I was like, I really like this sport. I'm becoming a fan. So I signed up the next Monday because I just figured at the very least, like I didn't really have a desire to fight at that point.
yeah,
But I figured at least it would be a fun activity that I could do with my son because he was kind of getting into it. But man, I am I am competitive as a person you'll meet. So kickboxing and jujitsu, it was hard, but finding something that lighting that lights that competitive fire back in you when that was something I'd kind of put away in my life. Like when you get over the high school sports and you're not playing college, you kind of have to. You're kind of a psycho in society if you're uber competitive like that, right? You
right.
just go to play church ball and you're that guy, and I didn't want
Checking
to be that
people
guy.
and
So
dropping elbows. No one likes that guy.
yeah, so I didn't want to be that guy. So I just tried to just pull everything back, and it was fun because I was in an environment where it was new, it was challenging, but it didn't. It I wasn't finding joy in the exercise. That was just a plus. I found the joy in being able to compete again and
Yeah,
being a little bit competitive. So like I said, I tried a bunch of stuff that didn't work for me. That's what the activity is what worked for me was being able to be competitive again and the challenge of learning a new sport.
yeah. And that sounds like kind of that's where your heart is. It's just in the competition and in the game. And so then it overcame like that
Yeah.
lack of desire to want to exercise because you said that's not really your thing.
No, I hate. I mean, still to this day. I mean, I'm in a fight camp right now. I'm fighting in August 23rd down in St. George, and I I barely ran. I hate running. Like I don't lift. I don't go to the gym and lift. I really don't. Like all my exercises in the gym training. So it's wrestling, it's kickboxing, it's doing jujitsu. Like that. That's where I get my exercise.
That's great, man. So you start out that class Monday. How quickly did you start losing weight at that point? Was it pretty quick or did it come off slowly?
Yeah, and I knew, I mean, at that point too, so I was working a job where I was in a truck driving most of the day or at a desk. And I'm not kidding when I say this. I was easily drinking over a gallon of Dr. Pepper a day, easily.
Yeah.
Um, so starting to exercise and then making just like little dietary adjustments, like going to like Coke Zero and sugar free sodas.
Yep.
I still love sodas, but it's like going to sugar free stuff and then just slowly cutting back on the processed stuff. I would say within 2 to 3 months, I was down to about 250. I thought probably
Okay.
lost like 20 pounds in the first
Yeah.
2 or 3 months. And what was fun and encouraging is as I was losing weight, I felt like I was getting a little bit of my athleticism back.
Right.
And and it just helped kind of push me harder to start making other changes in my life to try and continue to lose the weight. And then my coach told me if I got down to 205, that he's like, I think you could fight at 205. You can't fight at heavyweight, but if you can get down to 205, we'll get you a fight. And I thought at that point, it was just like kind of a fun one and done bucket list goal thing to do.
Yeah. So let's go from that stuff. So you're about 250. You realize like, okay, I got to lose about another 30 to 40 pounds if how
45
big,
pounds.
yeah, how
Yeah.
big your cut wants to basically be.
Yeah.
Do you have to change anything to continue to get that weight off, or was it just the fight camp getting ready?
training really hard. So I joined the gym in April of, let's see, 2017. And then I took my first fight in December 2017.
Okay,
So I lost about 65 pounds
that
that
first year.
in, yeah, that first 8 months or so, 7, 8 months. And so, the big changes was just exercising 6 days a week and then just start substituting, not like I said, I was in a truck a lot. So I was eating McDonald's breakfast almost daily as
Right.
I headed out to do my deliveries and stuff, and not doing McDonald's daily anymore and for breakfast, or Chick-fil-A breakfast every single day. And then and just slowly kind of cutting out on processed foods and replacing them with, chicken and rice and healthier alternatives, and exercise, drinking more water, and yeah.
So you brought up training like 6 days a week. During that time period, what did training look like? What were you most
About an hour and a half a day. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, boxing, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, jujitsu. Anyway, usually hour and a half of training a day. So an hour and a half working out a day. And I've been pretty dedicated. A lot of my success in fighting has come from just being very consistent and dedicated. Um, but just wanting to get better, and
right?
the exercise commitment, that's kind of what it turned into.
Perfect. What was it like mentally shifting into, okay, now I'm competing again, right? Where you had at this point maybe 10-year break since high school, it sounds like. It's been a while since you'd been competing.
Yeah.
So what was that like getting ready for your first fight?
Um, what helped a lot for me was kind of the people that were around me in the gym. Um, it's kind of local celebrity, Ben Moa. I trained
Yeah,
with him,
I know.
and
Yeah,
he's
Ben's
a
a good.
heavyweight, right? Played football at the U of U, played for the Miami Dolphins. Um, I just fought with him on the BKFC bare knuckle card in May in Salt Lake. Like that was a ton of fun. Um,
I think
but
you're leaving
I
out the fact that you had a really impressive knockout on that card.
that was good.
I
Yeah, that
saw
worked
that
out really
clip.
well. Yeah.
He's being modest right now, not saying how you knocked someone out in
So
like under 10 seconds, under 15 seconds. It was
yeah, it was
fast.
8 seconds.
Eight seconds.
I think it's the seventh fastest knockout in BKFC history. So that was cool.
Awesome, man.
Um, but Ben, I just remembered I had a kind of a rough day training, and he just reminded me. He's like, dude, that competitive, that athlete, like that's in there. You just got to pull it back out. Like it's okay. Like I think he could tell. Like I'd moved on from who that person was in my life, and he kind of like let it be known, like, hey, you got to tap back into that, and that's okay, because like this is a place where that's allowed again.
Right.
And so that meant a lot to me, and it was kind of a pivotal turning point as I was getting ready for that first fight of like, it was kind of getting back into that football mindset of like, we're yeah, letting that ultra competitive person come out, because the consequences of winning and losing isn't like, it's not like a baseball or basketball or
Yeah.
tennis or pickleball, right? It's like football. Winning and losing, there's a physicality to it, but fighting, it's like we're trying to separate people from consciousness, or break limbs, or
Right.
whatever, so choke people unconscious, things like that. So it depends on how you look at it, but there is a fine line that, if there's not a referee there, that's life or death. That's the referee is the only thing that's separating it from being, a gladiator type thing. So
Yeah.
um that's it, just getting back into that headspace. And that it was okay to be there in that headspace again.
Yeah. And so sounds like preparation, everything went great. What happened with your first fight?
Um yeah, it was interesting. So it was one of those things I do too. I try and take a lot of pride in being a good training partner at the gym. I don't really hurt people. I don't really hit people that hard
Yeah.
in the gym. I don't hit people as hard as I can. that just wasn't my thing. And I even remember I had a training partner said that he was worried for me for my first fight because like I never tried to hit like I was never trying to hit
Hurt
people
someone.
hard enough that would hurt someone in the gym. But I also kind of knew leading up to it that I was kind of in the headspace where I knew I needed to be. And I was just so anxious to do it. Ironically, so I got kicked shin to face in like 12 seconds into my first fight,
Yeah.
dropped me. And I just remembered going, I am not getting knocked out like this for my first fight in front of my wife and everybody that came to watch my first fight. And I got dropped 3 times in that first round before I finally he basically gassed out trying to get me to go away.
Yeah.
And eventually I took his back and got a rear naked choke and won with the first round submission after getting dropped 3 times in the first round. So it went pretty well
Good for you, man.
from the
That's
result aspect.
yeah, way to have heart and stay in there. So at this point, it sounds like you're probably walking around 220-ish, right? You fought 205 for that first fight.
Then yeah, I mean, and that was getting ready for the fight, but again, like it was a one and done thing for me too. So after I
Yeah.
fought, I was like, that was a really cool experience. I think I got back up to like 235 actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
regained
no,
weight, right?
I probably got back up to 235, 240 after that fight because I relaxed on my diet. I wasn't training as hard, as diligently.
Yeah.
Um, I saw culturally at the gym that's a big thing in MMA. It's now where I am. I'm at the gym 6 days a week, coaching or training, and I don't get it, but it's still things like where a lot of fighters like they don't go to the gym every day if they're not signed for a fight. I think that's really weird. I
Yeah.
don't get it unless it's truly a hobby. But I see people that say they're going to the UFC or that's their dream, and they don't train every day.
Yeah.
That's not going to get you there. So, um, but that's kind of what I saw was the culture. So I thought that was okay. So I wasn't training 6 days a week again. I relaxed my diet. Yeah, I probably got up to 240. I remember my third fight. I was 235 and I was working my way down. And I remember the fight was at 195, and I signed 10 weeks out, and I lost another 40 pounds in 10 weeks during
Wow.
that fight camp.
Yeah. So it
And
sounds like it wasn't
it
really a straight shot. You got down to low to mid 200s.
yeah,
It kind of fluctuated through there a couple times.
yeah,
Had a
yeah.
little
And I
bit
was
of a
letting
roller
myself get
coaster.
too big during fights and doing big weight cuts. I used to have a full head of hair like you, but my doctor said I lost all my hair because the stress of the weight cuts on my body.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it sounds like I mean, before this, we had talked about you were doing 20-pound weight cuts under 200 pounds, which that's a lot to cut down to.
Yeah, so Yeah, so my last 2 cuts down to my bare knuckle fight was 185. This fight's going to be at 185 pounds again. My last 2 fights at 170. I was at 190, 191, fully water loaded and everything. 24 hours before weigh-ins, and then I basically just dehydrate myself in an Epsom salt bath and um, over 24 hours and get down to 170. And it's a wild ride.
Yeah, that sounds pretty brutal. So you took a couple fights, kind of it sounds like at that 205-ish range, walking around the low 200s.
Uh,
What made you decide
yep.
like, okay, I need to get down under 200 pounds as my walk around weight and start going in lighter weight classes?
So the so I did the one fight, and then because I got kicked in the head and got dropped a couple times, I had a couple, and I have a history as a former football player, a history of head injuries.
Yeah.
So I just to be honest, I really was pretty content at that point to not fight again. I had
Okay.
pretty bad vertigo issues after that first fight
Some CT,
for
it
about a
sounds
month.
like.
Oh yeah. I mean, literally every time I'd lay down, I'd go from vertical to horizontal or horizontal to vertical. The room would spin for a good 15, 20 seconds for
Yeah.
about a month after that first fight. So not good. The vertigo went away. Went away. I started training again, and then the promotion hit me up again and offered me another fight and against a guy that was 1-0 as well. And I watched it. I was like, I can beat that guy. I know I can beat that guy. And so then it turned into two, and then it turned into three. And then, and the thing is, so it was 205, 205, 195 after three. And then then I set my sights kind of, I wanted an amateur title.
Yeah.
And the thing is the competition gets harder in MMA, the more important it is to fight at your appropriate weight class.
Right.
Um, when you're just way better than the competition, you can fight up a weight and just size doesn't matter as much. Your skill can overcome the size difference. But as you are fighting people on your skill level, it's the weight class becomes really important. So won the amateur 185 title. Um Lost the 185 title. And then COVID hit.
Okay.
We wanted a rematch. There's a little bit of a controversial ending to it. And then I kind of was staying hungry for that rematch, and I kept my shape. I stayed in really good shape during COVID. And that's when I realized that I could probably make 170 now pretty comfortably. And
Yeah.
actually the first time I fought at 70, I went in at like 167. I overshot because the weight just
Wow.
came off so easy.
Wow.
So by a few pounds, which if you've done a weight cut before, that's a
That's a
lot.
yeah. No,
So
that's usually you're
it
hoping to
was,
make it right about within that pound range and be happy.
yeah. So it was, that was an interesting experience, if you will. But yeah, so I did a few at 170, and yeah, it was just a gradual thing, but just getting my walking weight a little bit lower. I mean, even when I was fighting at 70, I'd relax on my diet, tighten it up for fight camp. But so even out of camp, I was still walking at 205, 210, pretty soft. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm 36 and I'm walking around 190 to 192 pretty regularly now.
And what did you have to do? It sounds like diet was the thing that helped. What did you have to do diet wise to kind of lower that last 30, 40 pounds off permanently?
Um, yeah, I mean, so for me, I try and tell people all the time, when you diet and you just make this decision. I had this conversation with one of my clients that I do one-on-ones with today. Um, he's struggling with his weight. He's not hitting his goal. And when you diet, the weight always comes back.
Yeah.
If you do a diet, the weight's just going to come back.
Yep.
It's deciding you're ready to make lifestyle changes,
Yeah.
right? So that my incredible wife, who we're recording on the 6th, so on the 7th tomorrow is our 16-year anniversary. She's always been a fitness nut. She's worked out. She wakes up at 5 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. and goes to the gym every morning since she was 14 years old, even
Wow.
when she's 9 months pregnant. So she's all about it, and
Yeah.
she's awesome. So that helps a lot that she cooks really clean and healthy. Um, but really it's accepting those lifestyle changes and just making better lifestyle choices as far as your diet, right? Not eating out as much, making time to make it a priority to cook for yourself. And then when you're on the run, just picking overall healthier options than McDonald's or greasy fast food.
Yeah.
There are better options. You just have to make it a priority because weirdly enough, being healthy isn't that convenient. It's way more convenient to be unhealthy
Oh yeah.
in
Yeah.
today's day, right? I mean, and it's cheaper. Like, healthier food is more expensive. So that was a big lifestyle and mentality change in my head that I had to make. Is if I want to do this, I have to make full on lifestyle changes, and more than just exercising and training every day, but um, not eating out as much, cutting out processed foods, still finding treats and stuff that I like so that I don't feel like I'm like always dieting, but
Yeah.
finding
Not
stuff
so
that,
deprived.
because I still love food,
Yeah.
like I do love food. And I, like I said, I was drinking so much soda and I still drink a ton of soda, but now I've just gone to I don't drink my calories anymore. I do the sugar-free stuff, or these rains. I drink way too many of these. I've been saying
Have
I
all
should
the
get sponsored by
caffeine.
them forever, but yeah, all the caffeine. But so it's not, I mean, I'm not perfectly healthy or by any means, but it's just substituting and always making those better choices than what I was making.
Right. So it sounds like you had this shift where it used to be kind of on that roller coaster of the you diet and then you would not,
Oh
and then
yeah.
you diet and you would not, and now you're really locked in and you turned it into a
Oh
lifestyle
yeah,
change. I think that's the last hurdle that most people really fail on is going from I know
for
what
sure.
works to I know how to make it work every day.
Yeah.
What did you have to do to actually make it a lifestyle? Because I think that's like a buzzword that people throw out there. Oh, it needs to be a lifestyle, but it's a lot easier
Hmm.
said than done. What was your process of internalizing it so it was something you would do every day?
I mean, I feel better and I'm happier, like overall, like I said, I literally can feel it in my knee that I've had two surgeries on. I can feel I don't have to step on a scale anymore to know when I get over about 210 pounds. I can feel it in my joints,
Right.
and when I can feel it when I'm moving and in my back and stuff. And I mean, dude, I've been fighting for 8 years now and about to have my 12th fight and overall, and I feel pretty much everything all the time and kind of always hurting. But yeah, it's it's a it's one of those things where I it's just you just have to do it. Like you have to believe in it and you have to have, I know you want to talk about cliche and stuff, but what's your why? And,
Yeah.
like I just, my why is I want to be healthier and live long enough to, be around for my kids and their kids, hopefully. Like, I'm still 36 years old and an active professional athlete at this point, fighting. And I'm still getting better. And the only way I and I could see the weight cuts were getting kind of harder as I was getting older.
Yeah.
So right now, for me, it's the only way I can continue to keep fighting at the level that I am is I have to keep my walking weight because as I get older, I cannot keep fluctuating and continuing to fight. So if I'm not ready to give up fighting. So if I can't give up fighting, like this is what's necessary. I'm very big on like one of my sayings in life is progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
And then some things are just non-negotiables for me. And if that's what I want, like just being willing to do what's necessary. And you know, I'm working towards progress. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love donuts,
As you
but
should.
as I should, right? I mean, I had a donut the other night. I'm on track to make weight very comfortably for my fight. Like I still eat donuts and I still enjoy myself, but it's just, I set limits of where I can be and how I feel. And as long as I'm meeting my goals, I allow myself to relax and enjoy. That's the lifestyle that I've created for myself. And so it's like, my non-negotiables now is I'm not getting back over 200 pounds. Like it's not happening. So as long as I'm in my low 190s, I pretty much enjoy myself and do whatever I want. But as soon as I start creeping up into the high 190s again, like gotta lock in. Just has to happen.
Right. So it sounds like you kind of found your safe spot, your head, just hang out in this weight range. You feel the best.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I've been dying to ask over and over again throughout this time progress, you doing podcast, you brought up injuries. How like you got injured a lot training earlier in your
Yeah.
life, and you probably are in the sport that causes more injuries than almost any other sport in the world. How have you been able to keep your body healthy while training and doing all these type of high intensity exercise and break that habit of, oh, I did it for 3 months and then got injured?
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's being willing to modify, right? And doing what works for you. A week before my third fight, I separated and fractured my left shoulder. Uh, I we did what we had to and what was necessary to go and go out there and fight. And I was fortunate enough to still figure out how to win. But the important thing with that is after that fight, my shoulder's still not the same. But before I could get back to training, so I would still go to kickboxing and participate and just use, I'm left-handed, so that's my dominant hand, my cross. I would just jab and use my kicks.
Yeah.
And then, or I would switch stance and go orthodox and work on, my right hand being my cross and not using my jab and just finding other way. You can always find a reason not to exercise and find a reason not to do it. And it takes a little bit more effort, but you can always find a way to work around injuries. And when I say injuries, I mean, I fractured my shoulder, broken hands, knee pain all the time. I trained on a fractured ankle for almost 9 months. It just learning what you can and can't do with those injuries. My ankle would have healed a lot sooner if I wouldn't have been training, I'm sure, but I just wasn't willing to give it up. And I'm not saying everybody should do that. But I have a bulged disc in my neck. I have no feeling in my right arm anymore. And it's just making that choice of, like, what do I want? Am I going to allow that injury to hinder it, or am I going to figure out how to work around it? And when you really have desire and you've made it your lifestyle, like, you can figure out how to work around it.
So really, it wasn't even necessarily preventing injuries as much as you just realized, hey, it's always going to be a factor. So
Always.
you have to,
Yep.
it can't be an excuse to stop anymore. I'll always run into that.
Yeah. Well, like I said before, like when I was doing it, I remember when the first time I was making real progress towards weight loss, when me and my wife tried to do P90X and then I hurt my shoulder, I stopped everything and just put weight back on.
Yeah.
I mean, with a shoulder injury, you could still go jog, you could still go walk.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing.
You
When
squats,
people come to
anything.
me for yeah, when people come to me for kickboxing and boxing lessons, I work with people that they do it to lose weight, not because they want to fight or whatever. And the kickboxing and boxing is great, but if you're only doing that a couple days a week, what else are you doing? Are you drinking water? Are you going for a walk? Like, you can still do things. If you have a lower body injury, you can still do push-ups.
Yep.
You can still sit and do curls and shoulder presses. Like, you can still move your body and do things to improve your health. Pretty much no matter the injury, you just have to make it your lifestyle, make it a priority.
Yeah. No, I really like that. I think it's just taking the best of whatever situation you're in and learning how to make that work. So it sounds like when you started, fighting was kind of like a hobby. Health and fitness was kind of a hobby side of thing. You were driving trucks. Now it sounds like you're partnered with a fight championship and it's more of your life. How has that affected health?
It's my whole life.
Yeah, how has that kind of affected your health and your habits? Like, now it's just everything, right? Like, this is what you do.
Yeah. So I mean, I 4 days a week I'm at my gym, One Hand MMA. I teach a 6 a.m. class. So I am at the gym from 6 a.m. doing one-on-ones and teaching classes, and then participating in my own training Monday through Thursday from about 6 a.m. till about noon every day.
Yeah.
And Fridays, I still have a couple one-on-ones. It just doesn't start that early. So I mean, I put in almost a 6-hour work day that's working out, and I get that not everybody can do that, but not everybody has to do that. I wasn't either. But it was flexible, and it was a way to make money between shows, because my full-time job is running Fierce Fighting Championship, and we did 13 shows last year. We're on track to do another 13 this year. And looking to do more. So it's just, I've just making it a part of what I made it my life,
Right. As far you've brought up how competing is really tied to it. As far as looking forward, we all know you can't fight forever, right? I mean, you
Right.
only have X amount of years left. I don't know if that's 5, 10, but I'm sure eventually that conversation happens.
Oh, I mean, I'm telling you this, if it's 5, I'm probably divorced soon. So
Okay. So what is your plan moving forward to be able to maintain and stay healthy when you don't have that like added pressure of competing or fighting?
I mean, to be honest, it's a real concern for myself and my wife. Um, she says, "Oh, when you're done fighting," and I always say that every fight could be my last. When I sign up for a fight, I very full well. My last couple of camps, the older I get, the harder it gets, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Turn into a cranky old man during camp.
no, I'm not really cranky, but I am focused. I'm hyper focused and very competitive. So it's just it's hard to be a present husband and father
Right. Yeah.
during it. Uh, I mean, my people ask my wife all the time, like, is it hard or whatever, like watching your husband fight? The fights are fine. Like she knows I'll be fine. My oldest son's been to all my fights except my first one. And, I tell him, even if I get knocked out, that's a reality of fight. I haven't been knocked out in a fight yet, knock on wood. Hope it never happens. But the reality is if I do it long enough, it will probably happen. And that no matter what, like I'll be okay. Like,
Yeah.
it's the sport. And, I mean, obviously it's not great for you, but you do the appropriate things after and everything will be okay. But I can't fight forever. And, yeah, I mean, it is a concern of myself and my wife's of like, so what's going to be my focus to stay healthy when fighting isn't on the table anymore? So at least the thing that I keep telling myself is I'm just going to, keep telling myself that, there's always another fight around the corner after this fight. I don't know when I'll fight again, but this fight could be my last fight, but I also know it's not like I'm doing a retirement fight or anything like that. So there always could be another opportunity around the corner. One, two, I've fallen in love with jujitsu. I used to hate it, but I do really enjoy jujitsu, and that is a sport that you can compete at well into your 50s.
Right.
There's people in their, so and I'm a purple belt in jujitsu. I have a couple really. My last two MMA fights, my bare knuckle fight was cool, but my last two MMA fights both ended in under a minute with chokes too. Like I really like jujitsu, so I have a plan that at 36, at least the next 20 or so years, as long as my body does hold up, I can coach. I have a passion for coaching. I can coach. I can compete in jujitsu, and even when I'm done fighting, I'd still like to be there for the guys at the gym and like kind of the next generation of guys as a training partner as well. So again, it's just finding that motivation and what works for you. Um, for me, the competitiveness will never go away. I just have to put that energy into something else. And if that energy is being competitive to stay active and healthy so that I can actively coach, so be it. But just figuring out those motivations and along the way. And I mean, it's probably a little bit like an addict, right? You're always in recovery. Like for this, it's
Right.
like it's always just looking for progress and it's always finding the next once fighting is done, finding the next thing to be motivated through. And that's my job. And as an adult, like you just suck it up and figure it out.
Yeah. No, I like that. So I think I've kind of run through most of the questions I'd like to talk about. Is there anything else you'd like to throw out there before we wrap up?
No, I mean, I think martial arts is a beautiful path. If you're looking for something, a community, when people come to the gym all the time and they say sorry because they're not very good at the beginning, it was everybody's first day once. I
Right.
remember it. I remember being so self-conscious. I still don't like going to the gym, even though I mean, reality, all those meatheads and stuff, I'm pretty sure I could take all of them, you know,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I could choke all of them out. But I did still, there is an insecurity of, even with my wife who, but like that's her thing. That's her world. She's good at it. I'm like, I'm not a good lifter. And that's part of the reason why I don't like the gym. I'm not very comfortable lifting weights around other people. But if you need a community or something to be a part of, as you can attest to, you go to one of the better gyms in the state as well. Like it was everybody's first day once, and
Yeah,
most places that are good places, nobody's judging you. They just want you to keep coming and learning and getting better. And it's a MMA and martial arts, like it's a great community to be part of. So if you're looking for something to be a part of, it might be a good fit for you. It might not, but I'd say for most people that give it an actual shot and don't quit at it, I don't know anybody that's been doing it more than a year or two that regrets sticking out how hard it is in the beginning and making it a very healthy part of their life.
yeah, no, I fully agree with that. You have to find what works for you and then also just the community to support. And I think fighting gyms can be kind of a one, like two birds with one
And
stone.
it doesn't have to be a fighting gym. There's a lot of fantastic
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu schools out there
yeah,
that don't
I
even
guess,
fight.
yeah,
Just
martial art gyms.
finding
Yeah,
something that
yeah,
yeah, the community aspect of it is
yeah.
really cool. And
I guess that's
and
what
who
I meant
knows, you
when I
might
said
just like
fighting.
fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I
Uh,
got you.
no, I thank you so much, Zach, for coming on. We'll just wrap it up there.
Awesome. Thank you.